what is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night. However, we have been on a long break, but it's really good to be back. This is episode 725. Excuse me, 726. That's how rusty I am. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Cody Maurice Dalgett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. That's one thing I didn't forget how to do. So I'm good. I'm glad to be back.
I know, right? It's crazy. We're a little rusty. We have a great show planned for you tonight, though. I'm super excited about it. But really exciting, which we need to remind everybody, is that you just dropped a brand new EP. It's called Thing of Beauty. It is out wherever you get your music. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, where my husband gets it, and it's 6 tracks. It's an EP. It's out. Tell us a little bit more about it, and then we'll tell you what's coming up.
It is a labor of love. It came from all the experiences I went through in my relationship. I'm going to say a lot more when that certain thing happens that we're about to announce. But yeah, it's from my heart. It's from my soul. I was being vulnerable. So I hope people are enjoying it. I hope that they are gravitating towards it, and they can hear a piece of themselves in it as well. So yeah, I just put myself out there, and it's been very fantastic thus far. So I can't wait to see what comes next.
It's so good. It's R&B. There's a track on there for everybody. I really love it. You sound great. Of course, you sang at my wedding, and you can sing live. You've just produced this amazing EP of just really good. We'll talk more about the tracks and everything, because we're doing a listening party, a live stream listening party next Tuesday, January 13th. And we're going to do a 30-minute listening party where we're going to play all of the tracks, but I'm going to interview Cody. We're going to talk about the inspiration, about each track, and what's to come in the future with this EP. I will also put it on our Tags Patreon community, as well as the website, tagspodcast.com. And we want you to join us for a listening party for Thing of Beauty by Cody Maurice. And in the meantime, go ahead and download the EP. It's A Thing of Beauty, all 6 tracks. And like I said, wherever you get your music, you can get it. So
thank you. Yes, you can.
I mentioned we are live, and James says, I absolutely love the new EP.
Thank you, James.
I know. So good. So good. I love it.
So happy. I'm so happy.
Such a great gift in the new year, too, Cody.
Yeah, because you worry. Thank you. You worry. I was worried. I was like, are people even going to like this? Are they going to gravitate towards it? Because I like it, and I know what I like. So yeah, I'm so glad people are enjoying it.
I mean, you've got a great voice. We've heard it before. You've put out other music. We heard you live at my wedding, which not an easy thing to do, to sing Stevie Wonder. You will let people tune in to learn the inspiration, but you put your heart and soul in this EP, and it is like a cohesive 6-track that's pretty much all related, I feel, at least, that takes you through the ups and downs of a relationship. But that's all we're going to talk about. Yep. And the music is good. Your lyrics, it's just really like a great R&B EP. I love it.
Thank you very much, babe.
I know. I'm sending it out to people left and right because we want to get you booked for performing.
I need to get booked and busy.
Booked and busy this Pride season. Come on now. Let's put it out there in the universe. So
Amen.
That's right. But for now, we are excited about tonight. And if you listen to our first episode back, episode 725, one of the things we were talking about was forecasting. Durand watching us live will appreciate that word. Well, we weren't forecasting fashion, but we were forecasting sex and relationships with Jeremy Ross Lopez, our other co-host, on what's to come on sex and relationships. And we talked everything about the apps, cruising, meeting people, I really loved this episode. It was really a great comeback. But on this episode, we wanted to explore the show that everybody is talking about, Heated Rivalry, and what a gay therapist that I follow. How do you say his name? Sputnik, right? Is his
Mm-hmm.
name? And
I
I
believe so,
follow
yeah.
him, and he is a legitimate, well respected gay therapist. He
Spitulnik.
Spitulnik.
Yes.
And I'll read you what he said and what it sparked about tonight's episode and what we're going to be talking about. And for many of us, he this is what he said. He's a gay therapist. He said it's fun to watch, but may not be good for us. Well, what does he mean by that? He wrote the intensity, the secrecy, the obsession. For many of us, what kind of love feels familiar because we fought for. Stories like this can feel validating and intoxicating, but they can also quietly reinforce the idea that love has to be hard, volatile, or competitive to be real. Fantasy can be hot without becoming a blueprint. Intensity is not the same thing as intimacy, and chemistry is not the same thing as safety. The love that actually changes your life won't feel like rivalry, it will feel like relief. Now, with all of that, I want to just put it out there before we get into it because he went on and just talk a little bit about that. But before, because I know there's so many fans of his, right, Cody,
Yeah.
or excuse me, of the show,
Of the show
and
and of him. Yeah.
myself included. And what we want to put out there is art. And this was a slice of life. And I think reflective of many of us of how we approach love based on how we grew up and
Yeah.
how we weren't allowed to express ourselves. I mean, I didn't come out to my mother, just my mother, until my 40s. So a lot of what is in this show resonated with me. And you can just take art, these are based on books for what it
Mm-hmm.
is. There have been countless watching viewing parties, much I might add, by women as well as gay men
Isn't
who have
that
been
something?
yeah, it has been a phenomenon that really got launched over, I think, the Thanksgiving holiday that is now being renewed, and people have gone nuts over this. I've seen interviews with these actors, and it's really a phenomenon that's really hit a chord, and that's why we're continuing the conversation. But what this gay therapist was speaking of was something that maybe watch it as the art that it is and a story that could still be relatable, but also don't take this into your relationships, into future relationships. Is that what you got out of it? And we're going to break down some of this a little bit more, but just real quick, I just want to hear a couple of your words, Cody, before we get into what we're talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. I hear what he's saying. I think that for this type of relationship, like if you look at the show, it spanned like what, 10 years at least, and it was unrequited. If you did that in real life, all your friends would be like, "What is going on, sis? We need to we need an intervention of some sort." So, yes, like we have to take into account that this is for entertainment purposes, but also it is for entertainment, but there's also some truth to it because I feel like there are points that are made, especially with how, as gay men, we can be very not secretive, but like we can deny our emotions a lot because ultimately we're taught, or I was taught when I was growing up in Catholic school, that our love for another man is not valid, quote unquote. So I feel like there are themes in there that a lot of people can relate to. I feel like the struggle we have seen before in other television shows as far as this is concerned. But I also think like we shouldn't be trying to emulate these types of relationships. Yes, we might have seen them in our lives before, but we should be striving to overcome them and overcome those situations, if you ask me.
Yeah, in our meeting earlier today, I was telling you that the actual, I believe it was the third episode where we meet the other hockey player, that he goes into the And I'm assuming everyone's watched it by now. Come on, if you've not been
Uh-oh.
living under a rock. But the
Uh-oh.
one hockey player that goes into the juice cafe and meets the other boy, that was where the storyline for Diego and I, as well as my sister, because I was just talking to her about it, really resonated with me. In other words, those early episodes of the main characters, initially I thought it was hot to watch them sexually, but it I did feel initially like it was just oh my gosh, are they just gonna, it was such a repressed love back
Yeah.
and forth. It was hot to watch,
Especially
believe
that
me.
booty.
But
Connor stories. Whoo, Jesus.
but the relatable aspect of it all came when we really got to that third storyline of that other, I believe he's an American hockey player. He's the one that ultimately, and again, spoiler alert, but come on, the one that ultimately kisses it brings him down to the ice skating ring, which everybody was like cheering. That is the storyline that was a little bit more relatable to me on my trajectory, but everybody has a different trajectory. But let's just bring it back a notch here. Why we love watching a show like this. I mean, rivalry in general is heightened with desire. I wrote things like secrecy adds danger and adrenaline. Sports culture. This is a hyper masculine sport. Physically, power, and what I would add to that, Cody, is that I mean, when I was in college, I was a gymnast. Now, a lot of you might sing, "Oh, okay, gymnast, you all were gay." We weren't all gay. That was the whole crazy part about
That
it.
is not where I thought that was going.
But I was a freshman.
Sorry.
I got recruited. I got a partial scholarship to UC Berkeley. I'll never forget the first week where it was almost like frat week. And we were put to the test to show why we wanted to be there. And it was a lot of straight bro action, even in the gymnastic team. And to this day, I could tell now that I think back, that I could tell there was a couple of gay boys also in the freshman team with me, but the majority of them were all heterosexual, straight. They all had that bro code culture. You wanted to fit in as a freshman, especially getting on a team like this. And what I would add is there's one guy, shout out to my friend Clark, who was, I met up later recently, and we're friends now. We both knew we were gay we didn't know we were gay back in the day, but now we see each other at the New York Eagle, and it's so refreshing to see him. I have Will Tantra of Tantric Fitness, was also on the UC Berkeley team ahead of me, and he talks about this culture too. So what you're seeing on TV is not, and that was gymnastics. Imagine a hyper masculine sport like professional hockey. It is realistic, but I think what we're talking and breaking down, what this therapist is talking about a little bit, is how much then do we take this and put this blueprint onto our lives? And what he's saying is, if you take it just as art, great, but it's not. It's reinforcing age-old tropes and stereotypes of where we don't need to be. What do you say to that? And we'll move on.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And like I was saying earlier, this is something that has been fed to us before. If you look at Queer as Folk, right? Their main love story is between someone that is a little bit older and someone that's underage, right? So in and of itself, that has to be a secret, because one of the people is, so that's along the same lines as
power over the other one.
Exactly. And then they also Justin is trying to pursue Brian, and there's that.
Come on with the names of that show.
Girl, I did some research before I got back on here. I was like, what are their names again?
Love it.
But yeah, so there's that push and pull. So these dynamics have been in our lives since TV was invented, since stories were invented, really. Moving on, I think that this is something that we should try and move past, that we should try and have healthy relationships, because those examples that we're seeing, they're not healthy. And I think that we as human beings should definitely look for something that's a little bit more calming to our nervous systems than this push and pull and constant, because it's a lot to have that. As somebody who lived through that and who thinks that this type of relationship, I kind of exalted it when I was in my relationship. I thought, oh, this is how a relationship is supposed to be. But no, it's all about overcoming all of that. And I personally was striving for that. It's just, the other person didn't want
Beautifully stated. And nervous system exactly is the key word here. One of the things that the therapist points out is intensity doesn't equal intimacy. Chemistry is not emotional safety. Obsession is not commitment. And
Yeah.
many of us were taught, whether it was implicit or explicitly, that love must be earned, desire must be fought for, secrecy equals passion. So these are not things. I mean, I remember back in the day, Cody, when one of my hot relationships back in the day, and I've talked about it on this show, was from the 90s. And he was so hot. He was a security guard. I was a go-go dancer. I mean, we could just go from there.
Is this the
And he had a
bodyguard?
huge dick. Yeah, it was the bodyguard practically. And we went on dates back in the 90s, and then I always remembered him. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, I've told the story before, I went back to San Francisco. I reignited with him again, and that spark, that chemistry was still there, and
Wow.
we kind of picked up, but there was still some blockage there that I couldn't somehow. When he would drop me off at the BART station to go to my family's house, it would just lock in. And there was some weird idiosyncrasies in that relationships that I could never explain, but I would make excuses for,
Yeah.
because the chemistry was so there, and I wanted to really make it work. And I did everything. Every time I would, like Heated Rivalry, whenever I would be in town, I would make sure I could parse out some time for him to see him. And it was not, now that I look back at it, it wasn't the healthiest relationship. It was hot, it was exciting, but it wasn't. And in the end, I feel he did me wrong in many ways. And that's fine, because ultimately he made room for ultimately meeting a healthy relationship, my
Yeah.
husband. And that's okay. And I don't have ill feelings, but I think this speaks to what that therapist is putting out, that blueprint that many of us gay men put out there, that we think this is what a relationship needs to be. It needs to be difficult. It needs to be like drama. It needs to be end all be all, because this is what our blueprint of gay men has taught us. And before I hear from you, Doug says, I think it's unfortunate that there still is no out NHL players. There isn't, right? Although there is one, he's minor league, but that's okay. Yeah. What do you say to that, though?
My whole EP is a story. Just go listen to it. It'll explain exactly how this is like. Because I see so much of myself in Heated Rivalry. I think that there's a longing. But the thing that Ilya and what's his name, the other guy, the
Yes.
Rosenoff and Hudson. Those are not the right names, but it's okay.
Yeah.
The thing that they did that maybe my last relationship wasn't able to do was let go of a lot of that, the walls that were there that they built up for them. So that is where they succeeded, and I feel like that's where the show is kind of succeeding too, because it's starting to show how you can turn those unhealthy relationships into healthier relationships, because it can be done. One thing that the doctor said, and I remembered it when you were talking, was about the chemistry and how people, when they don't have that chemistry, that's another thing that is a red flag for them. But I don't think it should be a red flag, and people move on too quickly, because I feel like the doctor said that relationships are work. So I totally agree with him on that, and I think it's important for us to actually put that out there as well, because chemistry can be there from the beginning. It will be wonderful, but also compatibility is a huge part of our relationship.
Exactly. And compatibility and passion can be grown with somebody that you love.
Definitely.
And I think what the therapist is really talking about is that, well, this is fun art to watch, and there can be an intensity in somebody that you connect with, that it doesn't have to be drama and
Yeah.
unrequited love that we seem to be seeing on the screen all the time. In that I have been experiencing with my husband just deeper. We keep talking about connected, what we want more in life. We were talking about it on the last episode. We want more connected relationships. We want, which is what my app does right now, drawing people into your life that means something and getting rid of those that do not serve you. But then that also is the same thing with dating too. And when you really connect with somebody on a deeper level, it doesn't, I think we've conditioned ourselves in many ways due to our culture. And when I say culture, I mean our gay culture, that
Hmm.
love needs to look a certain way, that it needs to be secretive, and it needs to be, the bad boy. And you can play those roles actually in your relationship and experience all those things with a actual partner that loves
Yeah.
you, that is
And support
there, that
you.
is present, that is not going to leave you, that is not, all these things that we're seeing in Heated Rivalry in many ways. And I think I think it's a beautiful show to watch, and I'm for it. But I also look at it as a slice of life of, it's part of our culture. But I think a lot of us, maybe like the therapist is saying, we're using this maybe as what we think we deserve as a blueprint. And I would even think the actors don't think that's what, love should really be looking like. And so
Oh
I think
yeah.
just those are, things to look at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that a huge part of why we feel like we deserve quote unquote secret love is because we've been taught our entire lives that we have a shameful secret, basically, that we as get queer people should not love who we love. So I think that feeds into a lot of this, us having a lot of shame around our love and our relationships. So yeah, I think that that is a huge component in it.
Absolutely. I mean, if we were to ask the question, and even to our audience, have you ever mistaken intensity for connection?
You want to make that poll right now? Oh, well, that one is not a
You
yes or no. Well, yes, it
can
is.
say yes or no and explain more in the
Girl,
comment
am I
section.
listening?
I mean,
But I do have a poll
let's
question,
okay.
and it's: is the relationship in Heated Rivalry realistic? Do you like that one, or you want to? We can.
I
I can
like
make that
it.
other one
And why don't
too.
we answer that? I think under their conditions, what they're living, it is. And because I think they're in a particular sport that's hyper masculine, and they haven't been, one of them's from Russia, that it's pretty much illegal to be
Now
gay.
that part, I was like, wow.
And I really love that his character is pretty much bisexual, but in the end we learn that he loves the other one. I
And he's the
know.
only person that he's loved. That's why.
Yeah,
That
but and then the other one hasn't felt, like many of us for years and years, that it's even an acceptable thing to happen. But I think that's beautiful in many ways. I think what the therapist is just really saying is, when we look for love, many of it has been embedded in this traumatic blueprint that we really need to kind of look at it as just art. But when we go into our own relationships, we really need to actually have a healthier mindset. And I take responsibility for my own, because I just shared with you that example of, I've had somewhat of a heated rivalry before with people that was hot, and it was tumultuous. And love shouldn't be tumultuous. It should
yeah,
just be, especially in 2026. And it
yeah.
can, and you can still find somebody and still have hot sex and work on that, like we talk about on the show, and have connected relationships and all of that open relationships and all that beauty without it being dramatic and tumultuous like we're seeing this. Remember, everybody, it's a TV show and it's makes for good. It was written by a woman, and which is great. And
Yeah.
I think it shows that what could exist in the sports arena, but it's not exactly what we are looking for in our own relationships. What do you say to that?
I completely agree with you, and I hear you, and I think that what you're saying is, from what I'm understanding, is that both of these things can exist. You can have chemistry, you can have passion, you can have all of these things that people look for in those relationships, but take the tumultuousness out of it, and instead insert support, love, compatibility, all of those things in place of the back and forth, the longing. That's unnecessary. And you know what? I think that the more that the people are out there and they are willing to break down their walls and really look for those things in a relationship, the better off we'll be.
I mean, if we were just the movie that really took people by a storm a few years ago, Timothée Chalamet. Remember that movie? That was the yearning Timothée Chalamet movie.
Call me by her name. Call me
by your name.
Yes.
Remember that yearning? That was also based on a book that was representing how many of us felt back when we were younger. So these are powerful stories.
Yeah. There's so many dynamics for it. There's so many.
But when we're doing view watching parties on things like that, we just want, I think the therapist is coming from a point of, don't take this on, this is what I want and this is what love should look like. And yeah, but we want to hear from you. What do you think about Heated Rivalry, what it's putting out there? Do you just see it as art? Do you use it as a blueprint? And what is the poll question that you want people to ask, Cody?
Is the relationship in Heated Rivalry realistic? The options are no, it's purely for entertainment, or yes, I've been there, baby. So the poll is active now. It's live. So go take our poll.
Take our poll. We'll read more throughout this episode. If you've ever mistaken intensity for intimacy or chemistry for connection, you're not alone. That's exactly why I created Connect and Confidence, a new app to help you slow down, feel grounded, and build relationships that feel safe, aligned, and real. Check it out at my new app. Go to studio.com/Stevie/connect. Time to move on to hot topics. Don't forget, we are live with Cody Maurice's brand new EP, Thing of Beauty. You can get it wherever you get your music, and we will be live. The link is on tagspodcast.com or our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/tagspodcast, and it will also be.
Hi friends, we are Dads and Daddies, a podcast about the lives and times of adult gay men in the here and now. I'm Brian Ruben Sowers, a married dad of 2.
And I am Judson Morrow, a resident daddy. Join us for frank conversations and personal stories of sex, love, relationships, parenthood, daddyhood, addiction, and so much more.
Find us on Instagram at Dads and Daddies Pod and listen to new episodes every Tuesday on all major platforms.
Live there as well, January 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But it's time to get into hot topics. And oh my goodness, if it was ever a good time to be an OnlyFans model, and I've been one, but I'm thinking, Cody, I've been thinking about coming back stronger and different in a different way. Yeah. And I know I had it before and it was success. I was doing well, but somehow, there's burnout, right?
Yeah.
And I just wasn't finding it. But I'm thinking, as I turn 55 this coming next week, I want to reformulate for my people, my age and beyond and younger, to reformulate it. But if you are overseas, there is a 0-1B work visa that has been representing OnlyFans models. In other words, you can get a visa that is granted to social media influencers, and now OnlyFans models have been taking advantage of it many immigration attorneys are saying. Influencers are the new niche field where the 0-1 historically was recognized for. If you were in a band, a major band, you would have to get this to go on tour. Take that, like for Madonna and all her performers to go everywhere on these long-standing tours, they had to get one of these visas. Well, now influencers have been using it, but so have OnlyFans models. The new endeavors and the new frontiers are influencers and OnlyFans provocateurs. And different lawyers have different viewpoints on this. Are people really taking advantage of this? Well, one attorney who works in this field, Michael Wilds, told Newsweek, by tracking their social media analytics and being ready to provide those a talented attorney, they ought to be able to show that their shoulders are part of their talent. Fiona McIntyre, founding partner of McIntyre Law Group, told the Financial Times, if you think about how many people are on social media every day and how few people actually make a living from it, it is really a skill. An immigration lawyer, Protrima Dariani, managing partner of the Dariani Law Group, told the Financial Times, we have scenarios where people who should have never been approved are getting approved for 0-1 visas. I mean,
interesting.
It's small, but what do you think of this?
I mean, I think it's super interesting. I've never really wrapped my head around why an influencer would have to move to another country and get a visa for that. Because if they become an influencer, why can't they do it in their own country still? That's the only question that I have. But if they want to move to another country and they have this skill, because it is a skill, like the lawyer said.
Can I stop you right there? I think a lot of it is not necessarily moving, but if they want to work with other content creators in America, they're going to get this visa. And I know how this works because I've seen it when I was doing it. In that people will put on their X, formerly known as Twitter, going to be in Chicago from January 13th through, whatever. They'll put that out there, and then they're going to move on to Philadelphia, and then they're going to move on to New York, and they want to maximize their time in America and be on quote unquote tour like another artist would be, a musician. And in the meantime, in the back end, they're putting it out there to content creators in those particular cities. So they are every day, maybe if they're there for 3 days, they're seeing, 15 content creators in that particular city.
In filming. 3 days?
I mean, yeah. And then going on to the next city and then going on to and creating all this content in America. It's like a tour like Madonna would do if she was on tour.
So, yeah, but how I think it's a great thing
to be in America sex work is work. And it's called a 0-1 visa and it's been expanded to content creators, which normally was for people that were on tour for the likes of Jennifer Lopez or whomever you put in.
Yeah, I think I was thinking more of like the beauty influencers and they're putting on makeup. I was like, why would they even need to do this? But now that you explained that it was clear before, but I think that forefront in my mind was the beauty influencers and the clothing influencers and those type of people. But when you're going on tour for your shows and you're doing the things, I think it's completely necessary. And sex work is work. And this is how people make their living. So let's make it as easy as possible for them. Bam, end of story.
End of story. Love it. Moving on. Well, on episode 725, we were talking about the emergency room stories of things that were caught up the rectum. If you want to hear those, listen to that episode. But now in this episode, we're moving on to the things reported by emergency rooms that were stuck inside brace your dicks penises in 2025. Ugh.
Brace your dick.
This one's really hard. Anuses are one thing, but dicks are a whole nother thing. Here's things. I'm just going to read you the list. Comment when you want, Cody. Batteries, candle wax, chess pieces, 2
How?
glass beads. These are reported by actual
I
emergency
know, and I
rooms.
believe it.
2 glass beads, a pen,
A
ouch,
pen?
a
That's how you get ink
pencil,
poisoning.
a pencil,
No,
a
lead poisoning.
comb, apple
A
stems,
comb?
apple
No.
core, bobby pins, paper clips, magnets, springs, screws, staples, thermometers, headphones, guitars, strings,
Phone.
and Allen wrenches. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That's the one area that slit in your penis. I know it's a BDSM thing. I can't handle it.
Sounding. Yeah, it's a thing.
No, I can't even
And
talk about it. La 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 la
so
la
part of me, are you ready? Part of
la
me
la
is
la la la
interested
la
in
la.
how Jenny, listen to me when you're talking to me. That's the way love goes, okay? But yeah, I'm really part of me is curious how they get these things up their penis slit. But part of me, I could never watch somebody actually doing it. So more power to them. I hope that they don't get anything else stuck up there.
I feel like
And
we all have a threshold, right, of what we can watch. And listen,
I think
back in
my
the day,
threshold is way before this.
I mean, back in the day, I mean, I'll be honest, I was into fisting and getting fisted, but
I want to fist
I
somebody.
can't for the life of me watch a fisting video because it opens up too much, and I'm so squeamish on that.
Okay.
I'm really good. I'm a good patient. Like when I'm drawing blood, I just look the other way and I'm fine. But I can't sit there and watch that. And I've gotten fisted. People were watching and they were all into it, but I don't think have you ever seen how far they open and you're seeing too much
Yeah.
of the inside? It's
What's
too
that?
much for me.
What's it
Watching us
called?
live
The
says,
rosebud, the blooming onion. What's it called?
is that our co-host out in LA?
It is.
Oh, good. Diego's. Oh my god. So literally anything can go up your anal cavity. Yeah, that's for sure. But the other route, the penis.
The other side is what we're talking
Doug
about.
says, watching us live, I've heard of some people with pipe cleansers before. Yikes! I know. Be careful, y'all, because there are actual toys out there that have been tested and are safe. And
Be careful with the toys too.
be careful with the toys. Yeah. But there's so many videos you could watch where you don't have to put, a piece of fruit up your ass. And you could actually put a dildo. And I mean, come on.
Or an Allen wrench up your pee hole.
An Allen wrench to get it out. Remember that was, we'll let people. All right. Well, we are loving right now Governor Newsom, or his office at least, because Grindr servers are ready, according to the Gavin Newsom's press office, when MAGA investigators are heading to California. What are we talking about? Well, California Governor Gavin Newsom clapped back or his office did, at right wingers yesterday in response to American conservative political commentator and YouTube Benny Johnson when he announced on X that his team would next week travel to the quote unquote fraud capital of the world, California. The fraud uncovered in Minnesota was very bad, but Governor Gavin Newsom's California is far worse. Allegations of financial scams in Minnesota first went viral just before the holidays on social media. And the video concentrated on the claim that there was government subsidies. However, some of the centers didn't appear to be providing care to any children. Well, now the White House administration has now said that they're coming for California, and Governor Newsom's office said that we'll make sure Grindr servers are ready. Do you love this?
Love. He's so catty, and his staff is so catty, but I also love that they are meeting this guy where he's at, but they're being smarter about it. I feel like so. Yeah, when they go low, we go low too, honey. I go to hell. No.
I just feel like there's some queen in Gavin Newsom's office, or many queens, and they're like, girl,
Girl, we got something for this.
Yeah. Look at all of
You-
last year.
when you need a read, you just go to a queen.
Oh,
Yes,
come on.
that's the
Yeah.
moral of the story.
Okay. Well, on episode 725, when we came back after the holiday season, we were talking about the British father son duo that is doing OnlyFans and what we thought about it. Well, our co host, Jeremy Ross Lopez, thought it was cringy and gross. And we were talking about the duo, British 41-year-old who goes by the name of Dean Byrne and his son, Bray Byrne. And we reported on that, just to give you a heads up on that, that the son, Bray Byrne, came to his father, Dean, and said, I know you're doing OnlyFans, and I'm 18, and I want to do OnlyFans now. Well, Dean said, if you're going to do it, I'm going to take you under my wings and I'm going to show you how to do it successfully if that's what you really want to do. But you need to think about it, he said, because if you want to go into any sort of political, or he just asked him that I'm 41 and I'm of an age. And if you're going to do it, make sure you're not going to go into a workforce that this will come back and haunt you, which I appreciated. They do produce content together or promote each other's content, but they don't do anything together, is what we were talking about. And people had certain viewpoints on that. Well, now there's another father-son duo that is also coming forward, and they are doing the same thing. And we are talking about these other people that are, who's the other ones that we're mentioning here? Because Jake Herbert entered the chat. Jake Herbert is 6'5", and
he's hot too.
Really hot. And now his father is also doing it as well. And they promote each other, father son, on there. Both have said that they don't do anything together. What I will say in the initial interview of the first group is that they are getting a lot of requests from fans. Of course, you can imagine, to do quote unquote content together, and you know what I mean. But neither of the two father son duos are doing it. Now, I say they are taking advantage. This is not our generation, Cody. In other words, like, I couldn't imagine my father was born in 1935. These are different, newer generations of father-sons. I would also say this is not recommended for most father-son duos, but these father-son duos are making it work. And I don't believe they're doing content together in that way that you might be thinking about. Get out of your mind, dirty mind. But what I will say is it opens the door, and they are saying openly that they are getting requests from fans to do that kind of content. I mean, come on. They are. So where do you stand on this with these father and son duos? If they're okay with just promoting each other, knowing that they're getting requests from creepy fans to go there, but they're just going to ignore that. What do you say to this? And audience, what do you say to this?
So I'm kind of going to revise what I said before. I still think it's cringy. I still think that it's something that should not transpire between a father and a son. I do feel like the father should advise the son on to how to navigate this, because that experience should definitely be shared. But they should not be filming Instagram reels together. They should not be doing that. Nobody should know their father and son, basically, is how I feel about this. And I think that the Byrneses, whoever they are, Bray Byrne and Henry Byrne, or whatever their names are, I think that they have kind of lit a match under this whole people are going to see how popular this is. I feel like the Herberts, this Herbert guy, saw how popular it was and how they're making so much money, and now this is going to only intensify, unfortunately. Honestly, it made me want a son. No, I'm just joking.
Listen, I think you're right. We talked about the blueprint. and earlier that,
Yeah.
what you see is, hey, if I can, that's what I see on screen. Is this what I want to do? Could I do this with my, newer generations of today fathers and today sons that are 18? Yeah, but I don't know that you're mentally ready for this. And if you can somehow keep it, the first ones that we were talking about have what they call more of a friend relationship than a father son. And it might be working for them, but this probably isn't a blueprint for people to go down that path. I would imagine most people are like creeped out, like, no, but I do think they're promoting each other, and it is what it is. And I think
weird.
they can, I feel like they can handle it, but they have to also be ready what they are getting, these requests for these lascivious things for them to do. And then it becomes cringy, and I don't know. But yeah, let us know how you weigh in on that. Do we have time for one more hot topic, or should we just move into, I think we should move into advice.
Advice. Right? Yeah. What are the other hot topics? Oh,
yeah.
We can, go ahead.
We love giving advice on this show, and today is no different than any other. And you can always ask us for sex and relationship advice. We are here for you. We will give our handles at the end of the show, or go to tagspodcast.com or our Tags Patreon community. This one, though, which is the one that you wanted to do, Cody, that related to earlier?
The one about, no, not that one. Can a relationship go back together?
Yes. Let's read it.
You want me to read it?
Can you read it, Cody? Yes.
So the original poster said, my partner and I separated in August. They've been together for 25 years. There were problems in the relationship. It wasn't all one-sided, but with the truth out, the original poster met someone and didn't have sex with them initially. So the partner found out, basically, and things started to escalate, but nothing sexual actually happened while the original poster and his significant other, they were married, so while they were together. However, when the partner decided to make an ultimatum to the original poster, that's when the original poster ultimately chose the new friend, and they started to have a relationship. They actually started having sex too. So that comes out later on in the conversation, because I was totally into this.
I know.
But so, because this is salacious right here. But he wants to know, basically, he wants to know is things kind of started to go awry with the new guy, and the original partner, the husband, is kind of, he played the whole I'm the broken up with somebody, he cheated on me, and poor woe is me, and kind of drew this other man's name through the mud. And now he's coming back to the original poster saying, maybe we can work this out, right? So
the ultimate question, I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, is can a relationship survive and go back?
Yes, exactly.
And I told you of my relationship, that somebody I dated back in the 90s, and then I tried to come back in the 2000s, and it didn't work. And I have tried with other relationships, you got nostalgic with certain relationships, or I did, and I have tried to reignite those things because we were friendly. And my advice is no, a hard no. The reason, and then take Jennifer Lopez, if we don't need a better example of trying to go back in time, it just doesn't. I'm a firm believer now, which, all those nostalgic times that I tried to make it work and go back in time because, nothing really serious happened, but that I wanted to make it work again. I think you're working with time and the universe, that you had your time with that person, and it doesn't mean that you can't have a newer relationship with that person, a friendly relationship, a loving relationship with that person. Like I have now learned that I have many loving relationships with my former past lovers, but that
Mm-hmm.
you can't go back in time and recreate it. It just is going against the universe and what the universe has planned for you in love. And you're trying to make something work that will always hit a rock and a hard place. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't mean that another relationship can't happen,
Yeah.
but you can't, and you're going to always go against the universe and try it. But it hasn't worked for J-Lo. It hasn't worked for me. And I'm sure I could find many other examples, but it just doesn't work. What do you say?
So yeah, I completely disagree with you. I think that for it to work, I think it can work because part of me, and I learned this in life coaching, like you can always heal things basically, and that's what you have to believe as a life coach in order for people to move forward and things of that nature. So there's very little that you can never come back from, and I think that, but a lot of the work has to do with letting go of the past and learning how you can apply what you have learned, because all of this is a learning experience. And so now these two people know each other more intimately than you will know somebody else in the future. And like, I'm kind of romanticizing this, but I think that personally, what it takes it's a hard endeavor to go through, but I think that ultimately you can come back from this situation. I have to believe that, and I believe that you can actually bloom and be stronger as a unit going forward because you have gone through this trial and this struggle. But I was actually kind of disappointed by a lot of the comments in the chat because everybody agrees with you, Steve. There was like one or two people that agreed with me, but me personally,
Well,
maybe I'm such a romantic.
Here's where I agree with a lot of what you said is that
Yeah.
time heals, and whatever you had with that person can definitely. So what I was saying is that I have healed so many of my relationships in the past, and
Yeah.
we are, I mean, somebody in one of my first boyfriends ever has a child now, and
Mm-hmm.
surrogacy, and he came to my wedding,
Yeah.
and and now his surrogate child that I love calls me Uncle Steve,
Mm-hmm.
and my dear friend endorsed my wedding and came to the wedding. And so I definitely a believer that, you know, you can come back, and I have such love for this person, like even
Mm-hmm.
maybe even deeper than before, because now I feel like I'm an uncle to his child.
Yeah.
And we were just messaging each other the other day, and how special over the holiday season when I went and spent time with him and his son, bringing my mother, who's a surrogate grandmother now. So it's like a new, almost more beautiful, reinvented relationship, but that has been developed over time. Our actual romantic relationship, ended years ago, and I think that when people try and go back to that, because what people I think forget is that, well, you may have done your work, the person, and I think this is where people get it
That
wrong.
is a component.
This is my
Yes.
belief system, is that everybody can do their own work, but where you were at when you were into that person initially, you are now a new person. And then if you're doing work on top of that, you're a different person. Now this person, whether they did their work or not, is in a different place, and the passion will always be there. So that's why people get back together, because they're like, oh my God, it was so special.
It
But
was so
you
passionate.
are not who you were before. I can't believe I keep quoting Jennifer Lopez, but she has this, not one but two albums, This Is Me Then. That title resonated with me so much, because this is me. And then she had a new one called This Is Me Now. I am not who I am yesterday, today. I am who I am right now. And I just think that it just never works. And history has shown it over and over.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure there are plenty of examples where people have broken up and gotten back together. I can't think any off the top of my head.
Exactly.
But I'm sure that
Are you done?
I love you. No. Yes, I'm done.
Well, we want to hear from you, live audience, watching us live. Do you think you can come back from a love and make it work? Help us decipher through this. At the end, we have a few more minutes, but we want to do one more advice. Let us know. Can it work? Can it not? Where do you weigh in on this based on that?
Oh, man.
Okay.
But I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. And I think that, you know what? Definitely. I know, but it definitely takes a lot of work for that to work out in the future, and you get back together. So, yeah. I don't know. Go ahead.
Let's do one more advice because I think we have a little bit more time. And it came from Reddit when they asked the question, how to ask a guy out at the gym, but figuring out how to determine if he is single or not. So they wrote, there is this guy at the gym that I'm sure is on our team. We have been exchanging glances and I want to approach him and ask him out, but want to save the embarrassment if he is not single. Does anyone have any strategies or what to determine? And in our meeting, you used an example of going up to somebody at the New York Eagle and saying that you went up to them and a guy that you thought was really hot. You loved his booty.
So hot. Woo! No, and his chest. He had these shoulders and this chest. He was so beautiful.
Only for him to say, "Oh, thank you," and this is my boyfriend.
And you know what? I didn't even notice they were together the whole night, and they were together when I had been seeing him before, but I didn't even notice that guy, unfortunately. Oh my God, but he's very handsome too. But the one that I went up to, 10 out of 10. His boyfriend is very handsome too. But when I went over to him and I introduced myself, we chatted for like maybe 30 seconds, a minute, and then he was like, "Hey, meet my boyfriend right here." And I was like, "Hi, boyfriend."
I said in the meeting that I still will say to you guys is, in a bar, I applaud you, Cody, for going up. This is what bar culture should be about. It is what it's been. It's that get up the gumption to put yourself out there, go up to people, talk to people. I mean, definitely go up to people that are giving you the eye in a bar scene, but also go up to people that maybe aren't giving you the eye and just say hello. Now, in this instance, you like that one guy. Now, did you like the boyfriend? Not necessarily as much as the one you were eyeing, correct?
So if the one I went up to is a 10, right? Then the boyfriend was probably about an 8. The boyfriend's very attractive. But yes, for me personally.
But you can still pass that off as, it's a bar. You go up to people.
Roll around with them
people come up to Diego and I. We go up to people. I think that's part of bar culture, which is now what this person is asking is the gym. And I told the story back in the day where a year ago I went to Crunch. I was using ClassPass, but then I'm like, oh, should I I have a gym in this building, but should I maybe I bought a membership for 1 year to Crunch thinking I should be meeting people again in the gym. Well, everybody had their headset on and nobody was saying hi to anybody. And I was like, there was and I gave it up after a year and it was fine. And I was just looking forward to meeting people just on a casual level as friends, but nobody was. If this person is getting an eye from somebody in the gym, then go up to them. Don't ask them out though. Suss it out. Talk to them. Definitely go up to them if you're getting eye contact and saying, "Hey, how's it work? How's the reps going?" Anyways, that's we have to go though. We want to thank everybody for joining us. And September 13th, we are live with Cody Maurice. We put the link here for his brand new EP called Thing of Beauty. Wherever you get your music, download it. Really help. It's so good. And you can follow him at Mr. Maurice Follow me at Iam_Steve on Instagram. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, everybody.
Woo!
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.
Hi, friends. We are Dads and Daddies, a podcast about the lives and times of adult gay men in the here and now. I'm Brian Rubin Sowers, a married dad of 2.
And I am Judson Morrow, a resident daddy. Join us for frank conversations and personal stories of sex, love, relationships, parenthood, daddyhood, addiction, and so much more.
Find us on Instagram at Dads and Daddies Pod and listen to new episodes every Tuesday on all major platforms.